Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have OP07 Rob Lucci versus OP03 Charlotte Katakuri. So I think this is going to be one of those games that showcases how strong Katakuri can be against these meta decks. Katakuri right now not being one of the top tier decks after Reject getting hit. And I think he's getting pretty much overshadowed by Enel, especially with the new 10-drop ace being able to heal him so much. Katakuri really just relying on 10-drop mom to compete with the top tier decks, but this duel, especially going up against one of the top 3 decks in the meta, Katakuri shows that he can hold his own. At least for a little bit. So let's get into this duel here. First couple turns are pretty slow. Looks like Lamb hitting in for 5, gets countered out, and so with 5 down remaining, he drops a Rebecca and KOing the Charlotte Pudding with the Brook that she cheats out. And the 6-down turn here, I opt to try to swing into his Brook, see if I can get any counters out of his hand, just because I know especially Rob Lucci doesn't have much draw power, so if you do end up draining out his hand, you can then play it slow and beat him out late game. And that was my method here. So I did get a counter out of his hand with the Nami swing, and I also swung 7, forcing his Rebecca to come out. So Kiku I really like at the moment. She only really is weak against RP Law for obvious reasons, but for black decks, even if she gets KO'd, you don't mind it too much if they're less than 3 health. The reason why I wanted to drop her early here is because when I drop the later larger bodies, I want them to be safe from removal. So I'm trying to bait him to remove my Kiku. Oh, so here, I think we had a miscommunication. He said that he was attacking lead, but actually meant Nami, so we were arguing a little bit, but we just put the Sanji back in trigger like nothing happened, and he swings 5 into the Nami here. No reason for me to counter out, so I'll let her go. But looks like the bait worked because Kaku is a really big KO removal. Being able to remove a 3 cost is really huge for the Lucci player. And seeing that I just go in for the 7, and then it's going to be a pretty easy 7 drop. So Big Mom's really good here, just because, especially with Lucci not having stage, they do have a hard time removing the larger bodies. And I did see that one stage got milled, so the likelihood of him having one at this point, it's not too high, so I'm not too threatened by another Kaku play. So he's thinking for a bit here, but should be able to at least develop some bodies on board. Looks like he's just digging for answers here with the Span Dam, grabbing a 2k to hand. Or putting it trash for some reason. I'm surprised he didn't grab that. But the Gecko coming down, Gecko grabbing Rebecca, and the Span Dam once again, just digging for more, and grabs the Tempest Kick to hand. Now Tempest Kick is one of the cards that I was worried about. Oh yeah, so he does grab the Khalifa correctly there. But yeah, Tempest Kick is one of the only ways that Rob Lucci can remove large bodies without the stage active. It being a better grade eruption means that he won't waste a card in hand to do so. And so I do get a 10 mom, which is fortunate for me to get it on curve. So that is a pretty easy play on turn 10. I was able to take out his Rebecca, so no more blockers on board to deal with, and I'm hoping that I can start to close out soon. He is thinking for a bit here, which makes me think that he's not able to get rid of the 10 mom very easily. So here his Gecko swings in 12 into my 7-drop mom. So at this point in the game, I wanted to keep her on board here just because I didn't have too much top end in hand, and so I wanted to maintain as much board presence as I could. So countering out of that means that he would need to invest even more Dawn to get rid of her, or he would have to invest his removal cards, which is good for us because that means that he can't use it on the 10-drop mom. And so there it is, the Tempest Kick comes out, reducing the 7-drop to a 4-drop, and then the Siru reducing her to a 2-drop. And with that, the leader and Brook should be more than enough to KO her. I ended up playing the Sanji out of life here because I had a Thunderbolt in hand, and especially with Rob Lucci's running Sabo or any black deck in that matter, Thunderbolt is a pretty dead card against trying to deal with their annoying blockers. At this point, I swung 13 into his Gecko just to try to get rid of him, and 6 into lead here. So 6 into lead, and then I swing big into his Gecko here. I just wanted to remove the larger swings, just because if he chips away and I get to throw down a lot of small bodies, I will be able to close out with the amount of swings that come out. And with the larger bodies gone, it's much harder for him to swing into the 10 mom. So he finally gets the stage down, and I think that means the 10 mom is probably gonna get dropped on this turn. So the stage should bring her down to 8. Him thinking about, I believe he had a Tempest Kick in hand as well. So swings 5 into my Sanji. I have no cards in this hand at this point, so him swinging minimums will do the trick. So he does reduce 10 mom, I believe, to 3 at this point, and Kaku is able to KO her. So I think at this point in the game is probably where I misplayed. Hindsight, he only has 1 card in hand. I definitely just should have swung both into life instead of trying to clear board here, just because I had the 8-drop Katakuri and I could have healed myself with the Peril Sparrow at the top of my life to threaten another body if he were to swing in. So big misplay on my part, but let's see what Lamb has to answer this board here. Yeah, so with the stage up, I can't imagine that the Katakuri's sticking around. But the Perospero here whiffing is really, really bad news for us. Just because Katakuri does depend on his top end to close out games. And me not seeing any at this point is really bad news for us. So start off with a 7k swing into lead and the Perospero coming down with the Sanji blocker. I was considering not playing the Sanji blocker just because with Isho and the stage down, all he needs is one removal card and he can just take care of my whole board. So I wanted to save the Katakuri for the final push swing, but obviously looking back here, Isho and stage being able to reduce him down to 3 for free essentially, definitely the right move was to just swing with him while I can. But he does end up reducing the Katakuri here. So now the Katakuri is down to 3, like I mentioned earlier. Swinging 6 into lead. Should have been a free block from the Sanji, but I decided to take it instead. And the Spandine bringing out the Rob Lucci. And Rob Lucci being able to pop 2 cards is what I was mentioning earlier, where I should have just kept him in hand at that point, or maybe used him as the blocker when Lamb swung in for 6 there. So Kaku coming down and the Perospero whiffing once again on the top end cards. Basically spells GG's for us, but I think this game definitely could have gone differently had I seen the line to go for lethal earlier instead of trying to deal with board. Just because when you're going up against Rob Lucci or any black deck, it's really hard to compete with their board removal, since with their stage and leader ability, essentially nothing is safe once you drop it down in the later stages of the game. So here I dropped the Newgate down, hoping to find some good triggers, and I think Newgate's a really good tech card that I'm playing right now. Obviously this late in the game he doesn't really get to shine, but if you get him on curve, you're able to rearrange your life so that any of your triggers can be foreseen and you can play it to your favor. But I think these next couple of turns, you'll see that Lamb should be able to close out pretty easily here. Isho, and the stage, bringing Newgate essentially down to 1 once he taps the stage, and having 2 1-drops. Essentially any of his removal in his deck can get rid of these bodies just to protect him from additional swings coming in. But like I was saying in the beginning, I do believe that Katakuri is a sleeper deck in this format, and if you want to run yellow and don't want to buy 4 aces for Enel or any of his expensive staple cards, I think Katakuri is a solid choice. This game definitely came down to just me misplaying that turn with the Katakuri, but also Katakuri being able to swing 7 every turn is very powerful. So I'm surprised he didn't close out this turn just because I only had 2 cards in hand. And I think he had more than enough swings to just pressure either all my cards out of my hand or even just pushing for lethal. with that Isho on board, it's such a heavy swing that there's no way that I could counter out. But he goes for the extra safe play, just clears board, and with only 2 boards or 2 swings left on my board, there's essentially no way for me to survive this here. So this is the only line of play I have left at this point in the game. So I try to deal with his 2 bodies on board. So 1 swinging to Helmeppo takes care of that and get rid of his second Kaku there. But at this point, it's just, now it's definitely guaranteed he's able to close out. Bedge, the Isho, won't do too much because he can just swing the rest with his leader. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any recommendations, please just leave it in the comment section below. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.